Welcome everyone. This video is going to analyze the profitability of boarding and selling Varun ships so that you know where to find them and the best ships to target. I've already done this analysis on Crimson Fleet ships, so feel free to search for that video if you want to see those results. There was a comment in that video that made me realize stealing ships in Starfield is more a privateering action than a pirating action if we are indeed stealing the bad guy ships. This isn't considered a crime in Starfield, so I want to start saying we are more privateers and not pirates, unless of course you're part of the Crimson Fleet, which then you are indeed a real pirate. As you know, there's a large number of hostile ships in Starfield, so gathering all this data does take a long time. But to get started, I only gathered data on Varun ships for this video. I may consider making additional videos on the remaining ship types once I find a repeatable way to find spacer and ecliptic ships. For this video, we are only focused on Varun ships, which we can find orbiting any of the planets or moons in the Serpentis system. Just fly to any of these orbits and wait about 10 seconds, and usually 2 or 3 ships will spawn. Before I start, I wanted to clarify some influencing factors that may alter your experience. First, all this data was gathered when I was over level 120. This affects the grade of weapons I find, which for the most part were advanced. Obviously, advanced weapons sell for more and do make up a large percentage of the overall credits earned. Second, being a higher level allows for better quality Varun ships to spawn, such as Prophecy 3 and Eulogy 3. Now that we have that covered, the process I use is always the same. Fly to the location, wait for ships to spawn. Since there's multiple ships of varying types, I then cycle through the ships to find my main target. Then I switch to the other targets and destroy all of them. Once they're all destroyed, I change over to my main target, which I then disable the engines and board and steal the ship. We all know that part. I found that Varun ships do not have contraband, which speeds up this entire process since we don't have to search the ship carefully for any contraband. We don't want to get caught by those scanners. It also allows you to fly to any spaceport to sell the ship and the loot straight away. Overall, this is much quicker than Crimson Fleet ships since there was always 1 to 3 contraband items. So I had to end up selling off the contraband before flying to any UC or free star cities. Another tip is that you don't have to loot the bodies or the containers, since once you sell the ship, it all gets transferred to your home ship's cargo bay. Again, this speeds up the whole process, and also you don't end up over encumbered. Here is my total profits broken down by ship name. As you can see, the higher the number after the name, the better quality the ship is, and therefore it sells for more. Taking into consideration all the gear, miscellaneous items, and ship value, for Varun ships, the Revelation ship is the best ship to strive for. Prophecy ships come in second, followed by Eulogy. There's a large leap between these 3 and the remaining ships, so this would entice us to just seek out these 3 ships to maximize profitability. Since you get 2 or 3 ships to spawn in each location, it is pretty easy to find one of these ships to steal. However, if none spawn, just destroy them all and move to the next location. Easy enough. Another thing to note is the quality of the ship doesn't affect the miscellaneous totals, just the actual ship values. For example, the Revelation 1 and 2 have the same number of enemies inside available to loot. However, the Revelation 2 has better ship components, so therefore the ship sells for more. So depending on your luck, you may loot more expensive weapons from one ship to the other, so there's always going to be variability on looted weapons and gear, but you can use these results to help plan your privateering. Here's some quick graphs of my data. As you can see, the ship profits are pretty straightforward, and again gives us some insight which ships are larger and therefore more valuable. One thing to note is that I used the normal shipyard vendor credit cap of 72,000 throughout my testing. There's instances with Prophecy 2 and 3 and Eulogy 3, which mats out on this cap, so we do lose some selling value. However, if you just bought a new ship or some upgrades, that vendor may have more credits available, which will allow you to sell for full price. For example, Prophecy 3 could sell for over 93,000 credits, but I could only sell them for 72,000 credits. The miscellaneous profit is all the weapons, gear, and credits earned from each ship. Typically, the larger the ship, the more enemies are inside, and therefore more available items to sell. And the final graph is just the total profit from each ship, which adds up the ship profit and the miscellaneous profit. To summarize, being a privateer and stealing ships is indeed a lot of fun and can easily make you a ton of credits. This is especially true if you focus on Revelation, Prophecy, or even Eulogy ships. You can find some really good weapons at high levels since some of these ships have weapon crates and are typically in the rare or legendary category. If you end up doing this and selling a lot of ships often, you will most likely have to wait for shipyard vendors to refresh their credits. They take a very long time to naturally refresh their credits. So what I do to speed it up is I travel to Venus, land somewhere, and wait somewhere in my ship for 24 local hours. This equates to a large amount of UT hours, so their credits refresh after doing this along with every other vendor. I really did enjoy doing all this testing and will continue to track my privateering profits. I may create an updated video with more data points for Varoon ships, with more tips and findings, or do the same thing with Spacer or Ecliptic ships. If you know a method to reliably find Spacer or Ecliptic ships, let me know in the comments. Also, if you want to be notified when more Starfield videos are uploaded, please consider subscribing. This really helps grow the channel. I hope you all have a great day. Thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you in the next one.